Hi everyone, I'd just like to introduce you to a little activity that just came to me yesterday when I was thinking about I need to come up with a new game, and I just call this one Take It or Leave It, and you guessed it, coming up with a name is always the hardest thing to do in these games. So what I've noticed, what I'm doing at the moment, I'm not at my school, I'm on leave at the moment, and I don't have access to all of the maths materials that I might otherwise use, but then again it sort of puts me in the position of families at home who don't have all access to all the different materials that we have at school, so I try and keep it simple by just using dice or cards or counters, even number charts. So I've said in previous clips where you can just draw up your own. This is not just 100, that's 120. You can fill the numbers in, that in itself is a good activity to do. So just keeping it nice and simple to what parents and families might have at home. So I'll just start with my dice today. I could use all 3 dice. I could use just 6-sided dice. A disadvantage there is that you're not adding on numbers 7, 8 and 9. So I like to use my 10-sided dice. And if you can't find 10-sided dice in the shops, that's where the cards can come in handy. So here's what I do. I'll start with 1 dice and I'll show you what it looks like. So I just roll it the first time and a number comes up and it's a 7. I keep that. I roll again and I add the next one on. It's a 5. So I'm adding 7 and 5 is 12. Now for my third roll, as a group we decide, is it going to be odd or even? And if I can predict correctly, I take that number. If I'm incorrect, I lose it. So well, I'm on 12 at the moment, just keep that in mind, lock it in, I've got 12. And I think it's going to be an even number, and I roll it, and it's a 4. So I get that. So 12 and 4 is 16. I place my counter on 16. Now we might be having a target number. We might say first one to get to 50. We might say first one to get to 100. Or we might just pick a random number, first one to get to 75 or something like that. All have the same target number. You might overshoot the number. So that's when you roll the third one, you might say, well, instead of adding the third one, I might take away. So you're going back and forward as you try and get closer and closer to your number. We'll see how we go. So here's how it goes again. Person rolls and the number comes up. It's a 3. I roll again. Whoops, and I lose it. I roll again and it's a 4. So I'm up to 7. I think it might be an odd number. Now you could decide whether you all go for the same. Is it always going to be an odd number? Or just the person who rolls might say, oh, I think it's going to be an odd. I prefer that. So I think it's going to be an odd number. And it's a 3. I get it. 7 and 3 is 10. I move 10 more spaces. If I was incorrect, I get nothing for that round. So very simple. And there's lots of ways that you may be able to modify it and see how you go. So I call it Take It or Leave It. And here's what it looks like on the playing sheet. So here's what Take It or Leave It looks like when you're playing it. I'm just using my standard 120 counting chart, and I like it in particular because often we just get stuck on going to 100. I like seeing what happens after 100. You could have another playing sheet that goes up to whatever numbers you like. Okay, player 1, here we go, the green. They roll the dice and a 2 comes up. They roll again and they're going to add. 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, now the third roll I'm going to either guess whether it's even or an odd number. I'm going to say it's an even number. So I've got 7 in my mind. I know that I'm on 7. Even number, if it's an even, I get it. And it's a 8. 7 plus 8, even number, I get it. So I go to 15. There we go. And as I said before, you could risk it for the biscuit. That's another option you could do where you say, okay, I might even try and have another go. And if I get it correctly, I continue. But if I don't, you might say, well, you could stay there or go back to the start. So the kids in my grade, they love doing risk it for the biscuit. So as I said, 15, if I have another roll straight away, I risk getting put back to the start. But try it. I love it when people come up with other ways of doing it. Okay, red's turn. And by the way, we might be saying it's first to 50, first to 100, first to 96, whatever. Okay, 2. Roll again, add it. +1 is 3. is the next roll going to be odd or even? And they're going to say it's odd. So 3 and an odd number. It's an 8. Do nothing. Back to green. 8 plus 9 is 17. I think it's going to be odd. And it is. 17 and 5 is 22. Now this in itself is a good strategy. Do I count by ones? I could. But then we can also do this. 22. If I go down 1 square, that's adding 10. That's adding 20. 21, 22. It's another way of navigating around the playing board. So that's just basically how the game works. If I go through that last little strategy again, if I was at 5 and I wanted to add 36, 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could also do this. If I wanted to add 5 plus, let's say 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, and so on. It's just another little strategy that just came to me as I was playing the game. So it's called Take It or Leave It. Simple game, but one again that also helps to develop those skills in adding numbers rather than just counting by ones all the time and counting all. We're trying to develop other strategies for adding numbers on. Hope you enjoyed, everyone. Cheers.